So you've got an RV, you've got a basic freshwater hose, and you've got a sewer hose. But what next? Well, after several years of RVing, 2 of those being full-time, these are the next 9 things that I would add or upgrade on my RV. Hey there, welcome to RV Gear and Far. I'm Joshua. Now, many of these are safety related and some of them are convenience. But the very first thing that I would do is make sure that I've got an EMS protecting my RV. RVs are increasingly getting more high-tech, more electronics, and the power supply to campgrounds is sometimes not sufficient, either too high voltage, too low voltage. Lots of different things that could happen. A lot of people know that they should have a surge protector to protect their RV, but there's a lot of other things that can happen with the power supply to your RV at a campground pedestal that can affect it in a negative way that a surge protector is not going to protect against. So having an electrical management system, such as the Power Watchdog by Hughes Autofoamers, which is what I like, Progressive Industries has some, there's a lot of different options out there, but having an electrical management system that allows you to control and view what goes in and out from the RV is really helpful in protecting the sensitive electronics inside your rig. An EMS system is going to shut down power to the rig if the voltage in becomes too low. Well, if the voltage in is too low, you're still gonna have some power to your appliances and accessories inside the rig, but you're gonna be frying those internal electronics. And over time, you're gonna shorten the life duration of your air conditioner, your refrigerator, all the different electronics inside the RV. And while this video isn't going to be a comparison of all the different items within the same category, being able to have protection against things more than just an electrical surge, and also, Bluetooth access, being able to pull up on an app and see how much power is coming in, how much power is going out. Yes, you can plug into a pedestal without it, but it's not really even a negotiable for me. That's definitely one of the top things that I would add after you get your water hose and your sewer hose. An electrical management system, something to protect your RV, because with these new RVs, electronics are everything. Now, it still boggles my mind that this is something that we have to add as consumers, but walking around one of the big RV shows, looking at all the rigs from low-end, entry-level budget models all the way up into super high-end models, having a handle on your screen door that allows you to grab and close that screen door from the inside is something that any RVer with a drill can do. Literally 4 screws into the aluminum frame of the screen door, but it makes a huge difference on how your screen door functions and actually how safe it is to go in and out of the RV. A lot of times when you're coming in and out of the RV, you've got your grab handle here, but you've also got a secondary handle over here on the screen door. And being able to open that without risk putting your hand through the screen door, 1, it saves you from having to replace a screen door, but 2, it also saves you from potentially falling down the stairs. Definitely not something you want to do. So adding a screen door handle to your rig, super cheap, super easy, and something that I really wish that we as consumers didn't have to do. It should just be included with the screen door. Unfortunately, it's not. That, along with all the other gear that we're going to be talking about here, is available through some links in the description below. If you appreciate this video and you got some good ideas from it, consider starting your shopping there, and we'll jump on to the next one. Now, a lot of these things on this list, I kind of feel like I'm going to be a broken record in that saying that these really should come from the factory that way, like from the manufacturer and the original equipment manufacturers. But the next upgrade I would do is adding hub savers to the inside of my RV hubs. Now, these are simply just a washer that replaces the washer behind your castle nut on the hubs of your axles. And what they do is they are wider than the bearing, which means that if you ever have a bearing failure, as the hubs come from the factory, if that outer bearing fails and disintegrates, melts, whatever, you can lose an entire wheel. And I've known more than one person that have arrived at a campground and didn't know that they had lost a wheel until someone pointed it out. Either they drove up alongside them on the highway and waved them down and said, hey, your tire just went flying. Or someone went to a remote campground, they got to check-in, and the person at the check-in gate said, hey, you're missing a rear tire. Did you know that? And they had absolutely no clue. So the hub saver would have prevented that. It allows you to keep the wheel on even if the hub has failed. And hub saver, I met them at some of the big manufacturer shows. They've done some testing with loaded trailers and have been able to get safely off the highway when the hubs fail. It's simply a washer that you replace the other washer with, and it keeps the hub on even if the bearing fails, and could absolutely avoid a catastrophic incident on the highway if you've got a hub failure. So hub saver, definitely recommend them. Super easy install. If you're at least mildly DIY inclined, it should be no big deal for you. It's literally just taking off the cotter pin, the castle nut, and replacing the washer that's already there. It's something that's intuitively, after you think about it and it's been pointed out to you, you're like, yeah, why would this not come from the factory that way? But for whatever reason, it doesn't. Thankfully, it's something we can change. Now, this one's not going to come to a surprise to anyone who's done at all a little bit of research. Having a water pressure regulator on your RV in between the campground spigot and the rig is absolutely essential. Water pressure varies from park to park, site to site, and it can vary drastically. Some parks have an insane amount of water pressure, and some parks have barely a trickle, make you want to just fill up your fresh tank and use the onboard 12-volt pump. But making sure that we protect the plumbing inside the RV with a pressure regulator, either a set one that is just in line and it's a set pressure, you can't change it, or a variable one where you can kind of adjust the screw inside to either increase or decrease pressure, which has actually got a lot of merit to it, because if you've got filters on or you've got a water softener, different things that go in between and in different spaces throughout your water system from the campground spigot to the end point of your faucet, you may want to have different water pressure, and being able to measure and gauge that and change it and allow a different flow through is super important. But having one, either a static or a dynamic water pressure regulator, is absolutely essential. The next thing you want to do is couple that with a elbow. For whatever reason, the hose hookups on RVs come out at 90 degrees, right? That makes absolutely no sense, because that means we're hooking a hose up parallel to the ground. Well, where's all the pressure going when we let go of that connection? Well, it's pulling down. And so the connection right at the RV, either in a wet bay or on the side of the rig, there's just a lot of pressure. And over time, those plastic fittings are going to break and crack, and you're going to have a leak inside. So adding in a 90 degree, or if, depending on how your wet bay is set up, a 45-degree angle will reduce the amount of leverage off of those connections, and it will severely extend the life of your equipment. And here's one more quick tip on water things. If you've got a wet bay, where you've got the water management panel inside of a pass-through and then a hole in the floor where things come out, add a 3-foot leader section. Connect that to your 45 or 90 degree hose, and then leave that connected all the time. So when you're done hooking up, you disconnect your water hose and your pressure regulator. You store those away, but the leader hose just pulls up into the wet bay. You store it there, and that way you're not doing and undoing the connections every time at that wet bay, again, extending the life of those plastic fittings. All right, now sticking with the safety factor, let's talk about propane. You know, we've got water pressure regulators for our water systems. We've got EMS systems for our electrical system. It only makes sense that we would have a safety feature for our propane systems, and that's what gas stop provides. Gas stop is a manual catastrophic event shutoff valve for your propane system. Now, I know that the propane tanks have an overfill protection device, and if they get too hot, they can leak out some propane so that they don't explode. Well, gas stop is in addition to that. It screws on to the tank, and if there's a certain flow rate achieved, it immediately shuts off flow from the tank to the rest of the system. So we're not going to get into the debate of whether you should or should not drive with your propane tanks on, but say there's a catastrophic event. One thing that I've been concerned about before is when I plug in my external RV grill or a propane fire pit and someone stumbles over that hose and rips a hole in it, I have to run up here and turn off the propane, and I've got an open flame either at the barbecue grill or at the fire pit. And so I actually tested it. I hooked up a sacrificial hose to my outdoor kitchen quick connect, and I cut the propane line. And sure enough, gas stop cut off the propane supply to the rest of the RV. And you can extrapolate and see how that might be helpful if you were going down the road, you had a tire blow out and it absolutely started ripping stuff up. Well, the propane lines in RVs run right along the frame rail, right where your tires are as well. So a rock kicking up, a rear end collision where someone runs into the back of your RV, all these different things that ideally we don't want to have to deal with, but unfortunately they do. Gas stop provides a fail-safe and shuts off that flammable gas from being able to go down the rest of the line and drop out 20, 30, 40 pounds of propane. Shuts it off, keeps everyone safe. So again, electric, water, propane, the top 3 systems that we have in our RV. It makes sense that we have safety stops for all 3 of those systems. So an EMS system for electrical, gas stop for propane, and a pressure regulator for your water system. Now, some manufacturers are starting to get better about this, and they're having quality tires come on the rigs from the factory. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of rigs that come out with inferior tires. Getting a good tire put onto your RV can mean the difference between having a tire issue and not having a tire issue. The generic off-brand tires that are put on RVs from the manufacturer, people have had them on the spare tire carrier, never used, never had weight put on them, just explode off of the spare tire carrier, which is absolutely crazy. If you jump onto any of the Facebook forums for RVing, tires are one of the top things that everyone recommends to replace. I would agree with that. And I think that's enough said. Replace your tires, make sure you get a good reputable brand, and skip the off-brand ones that often come with brand new RVs. And so as a community, let's help everybody out. Drop me a comment. Let me know what brand of RV tires you prefer and also what you put them on. So if you've got a motorhome, if you've got a towable, what brand of RV tires you prefer. And if you're looking for recommendations on tires, make sure you check out the comments of this video to see what everybody else is using and what they prefer. Now, most drivers understand that you need to check your tire pressure before you head out on a long trip. I'm going to take that one step further and say a tire pressure monitoring system, something that attaches to the valve stems of the RV tires or is mounted inside of the wheel to actively and constantly measure the tire pressure inside of these tires is absolutely essential. There are countless stories of TPMS systems saving people from catastrophic failure on the road, myself included. I'll put a link to the video down below. We had 3 tire issues in 3 days and TPMS system absolutely saved our bacon. So TPMS system is right in there with quality brand tires and hub saver. Now this next one isn't necessarily safety related, although we could probably go out on a limb and make it such, but having a additional blade valve on your sewer outlets. Now I like the Valterra twist-on blade valves. They've got the bayonet fittings that just go on to the existing end caps of your sewer outlets. Now the reason that that's important is kind of following the old adage of 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Think about this. You've got a 30, 40, 50 gallon black tank full of human black water. The only thing standing between you and that tank is a single blade valve and often a cap at the end. Well, if that blade valve fails and you don't know it and you can't see anything behind the end cap, you open the end cap, no bueno. And so having an additional blade valve, 2, between you and any sort of waste tank is absolutely my preferred method and something that without a doubt I would add to a new RV right away. It's as simple as using the bayonet fittings, clicking it on, and then adding the cap to the outside. It then allows that I have 2 blade valves between me and any sort of waste tank on my RV. It's an inexpensive add-on that requires no tools to install. And if you don't do it and have a poopsie, you wish you would have spent the $20, $30 to get the valve, put it on, and just start from the get-go that way. So I highly recommend an additional blade valve at the termination point of your wastewater outlets. Now, the only recommendation that's going to be more ubiquitous than changing the stock RV tires to something more reputable is going to be in the bedroom with the mattress. Now, this isn't going to be an ad for a mattress company, but I will echo every advertisement you've ever seen, and that the RV mattresses that come stock with your rig, they're just not good. And they're not designed to be good. They're designed to be a placeholder. Oftentimes, some of them are super, super paper thin, and they're just supposed to be able to hold the place for the end consumer to choose their preferred mattress. Because a mattress is something that's super personal to each person, right? Like we've got mattresses that have 2 different sleep zones so that each partner in a couple can have a different firmness, a different cool level, a different heat level. And so there's no way that an entire RV manufacturer could choose 1 mattress or 2 mattresses and have them be fitting for all of their end consumers. So rather than try and get a good mattress, they just put in a placeholder mattress. And so they're kind of designed to be replaced. Whether you jump on one of the big brand manufacturers for mattresses, you order something on Amazon, you go down to your mattress store, just realize that there are sometimes specific RV sizes, whether it's a bunk or a RV queen or RV king. Sometimes the lengths are different. Grab a tape measure, measure the current mattress that's in there and see what kind of sizes you can go with. On our current rig, we actually extended the length. It wasn't RV queen, so it was the width of regular queen, but it was short by 5 inches. We actually extended the platform a little bit so that we could put our residential queen in there, and we had enough room between this wall and the end of the mattress that we could extend that. And it's been absolutely awesome to have a full-size residential queen mattress in the RV. But just make sure you take those measurements, whether you've got a bunk that's got a narrow mattress or a just odd-shaped space. I will echo all the other videos you've seen and all the other recommendations, tires and mattresses. Definitely things you should upgrade on your RV. Now this one might be a little controversial and some people might not agree with me, but I think upgrading the vent fans on your RV is something that is absolutely worth every penny. This is the Max Air Deluxe fan. It's got an integrated rain cover that goes up and down when you open the fan. It's got several speed settings and it can exhaust like a normal fan, pull air from the rig out, but you can also reverse the motor and pull air in. And it's one of those upgrades that I did to the RV that's absolutely made a huge amount of difference, because being able to crack open a window and then turn the Max Air fan on and actually just pull a ton of air through the RV, super handy when you get to a campsite and all the stuffy air from a travel day is in the RV, or when it gets really cool at night, being able to open the windows, open the fan and be able to push air into the RV and out that way. And the MaxxAir Deluxe has got this really cool shroud feature that you install once. And then if you ever need to change out this fan, it's 4 screws, you pop the thing out and you put a new one in. Versus a lot of the other fans, you have to remove all of the weather sealing on the top of the RV. If nothing else, I really wish that that shroud feature from the fan would be installed on all RV fans. That way the consumer, again, kind of like the mattresses, could plug and play the fan option that they want to use. But the MaxxAir Deluxe fan with the integrated rain cover, absolutely worth it, and something that I wouldn't hesitate to put on another RV. Now, there really isn't a whole lot you need for an RV. You need a 12-volt battery, you need a power cord, 120 shore power cord, you need a freshwater hose, and you need a sewer hose. But in addition to that, it's often a really good idea to have some safety features and different add-ons. And these are the things that I would add to a new RV if I were to get a new one tomorrow. And they're definitely ones that I would recommend to you, that if you don't have some of these things, definitely consider adding them. You know, the safety features of water, electric, sewer, propane, tire safety, both from the hubs and the tires themselves. All those make a ton of sense to me. And unfortunately, I wish they were things that would come from the manufacturers already installed. Even something as simple as the screen door handle that allows for better balance and safer travel up and down the stairs into and out of the RV. What does that part cost? In the grand scheme of this entire rig, I really wish that they would all come that way and just come standard. Hopefully you got something of value out of this video, something to think about, different products to consider, and different mindsets of all around making our RVs better vehicles for exploration and adventure. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, click that like button, leave a comment down below. Again, I want to hear what types of RV tires you prefer. With that, I'll see you on the next one.